winter in America, hundreds of people freeze to death on sidewalks, in parked cars, and under highway overpasses. Not in the wilderness. In cities, sometimes 100 feet from a heated building. And most of those deaths were preventable with gear that campers have been using for decades, some of it costing less than a cup of coffee. Tonight, we're counting down 20 camping inventions that could help a person survive a brutal winter without a home. And at number 1, you'll see the only invention on this list created for this exact purpose, by a college student who refused to look away. Whether you love someone who has fallen on hard times, you want to hand something useful to the man you pass every morning, or you've been through a rough season yourself, this list could genuinely save a life. Before we start, one quick note. Everything here was chosen using 3 rules. It has to be cheap or free to find. It has to work without electricity from the wall. And it has to be light enough to carry, because when you don't have a home, everything you own travels with you. Let's get into it. Number 20. The Myar emergency blanket. That crinkly silver sheet you've seen wrapped around marathon runners is one of the most effective pieces of survival gear ever invented, and it often costs about $1. Myar was developed from space program technology, and that thin metallic film reflects up to 90% of your body heat straight back at you. On its own, it won't keep anyone warm all night because it traps moisture and tears easily. But used correctly, as a layer over a coat or inside a sleeping bag, or taped against a wall to bounce heat back into a small shelter, it turns your own body into the furnace. It folds down smaller than a wallet. For $1, nothing else on earth comes close. Number 19. The closed-cell foam sleeping pad. On a winter night, the ground steals far more heat from your body than the air does. You can be wrapped in 3 blankets and still shiver until morning, because the frozen concrete underneath you is pulling warmth out of your back hour after hour. Campers solve this with a simple foam pad, the kind rolled up on the outside of a hiker's backpack. It weighs almost nothing, it can't be punctured, it never needs inflating, and it puts a wall of trapped air between a sleeping body and the cold earth. Survival instructors have a saying, 1 layer beneath you is worth 2 layers on top of you. Remember that one. Number 18. Chemical hand warmers. Those little pouches you shake to activate contain iron powder that slowly rusts when it meets the air, and that reaction releases gentle heat for 8 to 10 hours. They cost around 50 cents each when bought in a box. But the trick is where you put them. Experienced winter campers don't just hold them in their hands. They tuck them where the big blood vessels run close to the skin, inside the front pockets against the thighs, at the small of the back, or near the collarbones. Warm the blood, and the blood carries that warmth to the fingers and toes on its own. A $10 box of hand warmers can take the edge off an entire week of freezing nights. Number 17. Merino wool layers. There's an old saying among mountain guides, and it sounds harsh, but it's true. Cotton kills. When cotton gets wet from snow, rain, or even sweat, it loses its ability to insulate and actually pulls heat out of the body. Wool does the opposite. Merino wool socks and base layers keep insulating even when they're soaking wet. They resist odor for days, and they breathe so you don't overheat and sweat during the day. For someone living outside, a 2-pair rotation of wool socks, one on the feet and one drying inside the jacket, is the single best defense against frostbite and trench foot. Thrift stores are full of wool sweaters for a couple of dollars. Check the labels. That old gray sweater might be worth more than a brand new cotton hoodie. Number 16. The metal water bottle bed warmer. This one costs nothing if you already own a single-wall stainless steel bottle. Fill it with hot water before sleep, from a gas station tap, a shelter sink, or water heated over a small fire. Wrap it in a sock so it doesn't burn the skin, and tuck it into the sleeping bag near the feet or the core. It's the same trick grandmothers used with rubber hot water bottles a century ago, and it works beautifully, radiating heat for hours through the coldest part of the night. As a bonus, by morning you have drinkable water that hasn't frozen solid, which in deep winter is a genuine problem all by itself. Number 15. The balaclava. You lose meaningful heat through your head and neck, and more importantly, breathing freezing air all night dries out the lungs and chills you from the inside. A fleece or wool balaclava covers the head, the ears, the neck, and can be pulled over the mouth so every breath comes in slightly pre-warmed and humidified. Soldiers stationed in Arctic conditions consider it standard issue, not an accessory. They cost a few dollars, weigh nothing, and unlike a hat, they can't slide off while you sleep. If you're putting together a care package for someone on the street this winter, put a balaclava in it before almost anything else. Number 14. The emergency bivvy sack. Think of this as the Mylar blanket's tougher, smarter big brother. A bivvy is essentially a sleeping bag-shaped shell made from reinforced heat-reflective material, and unlike a flat blanket, it seals your body heat in a cocoon with no gaps for the wind to find. Models like the SOL Escape Bivvy, the kind search and rescue teams actually carry, weigh about 4 ounces and fit in a jacket pocket, yet they can raise the temperature inside by 20 degrees or more compared to the outside air. Rescue workers trust them because they've pulled hypothermic people back from the edge with nothing else. Slipped over a regular sleeping bag, a bivvy can turn a mild weather bag into something that survives a hard freeze. Number 13. The candle lantern. A single candle produces a surprising amount of heat, roughly 80 watts, about the same as an old light bulb. Campers have used spring-loaded candle lanterns for over 100 years, a small glass and metal housing that protects the flame from wind, catches dripping wax, and hangs safely from a loop. Inside a small tent vestibule or a sheltered nook, one candle lantern provides light, morale, and a real bump in temperature, and a long-burning candle lasts 9 hours, which is conveniently about one winter night. The housing matters because an open flame around bedding is how tragedies happen. That few dollars of protective metal is the entire point of the invention. Number 12. The rocket stove. Out of everything on this list, this might be the most brilliant piece of engineering. A rocket stove is a small metal chamber designed so that air rushes through it like a chimney, making a handful of twigs, scrap wood, or even dry leaves burn as hot as a full campfire. No propane to buy, no gas canisters to refill. Fuel is literally lying on the ground in any city park. A rocket stove can boil water in minutes, cook a can of soup, or heat rocks that can be wrapped in cloth and taken into a shelter for warmth. Versions exist for under $20, and there are people who build them for free from large tin cans. When money runs out completely, the ability to make heat from trash changes everything. Number 11. The sleeping bag liner. Backpackers figured this one out years ago. A thin fleece or thermal liner slipped inside any sleeping bag adds 10 to 15 degrees of warmth for a fraction of the cost of a better bag. But the hidden benefit might matter even more for life on the street. The liner is the only part touching your body, so it's the only part that needs washing. It can be rinsed in a sink and dried overnight, keeping the main bag cleaner, drier, and more effective for months longer. A $15 liner can stretch a donated summer sleeping bag into something that handles late autumn, and stretch a decent bag into something that handles January. Number 10. The portable catalytic propane heater. Certain small propane heaters are specifically engineered for indoor use, with oxygen sensors that shut the unit down automatically if the air gets dangerous, and tip-over switches that kill the flame if it's knocked sideways. Ice fishermen and van dwellers survive entire winters on them. One small green propane canister can provide hours of real, room-changing heat inside a tent or a vehicle. Now, an honest warning, because this matters. Any burning fuel produces carbon monoxide, and carbon monoxide in a sealed space kills quietly. These heaters must always have a cracked window or vent, no exceptions, and only models rated for indoor use should ever run in an enclosed area. Used correctly, this invention has kept thousands of people alive in vehicles through nights that dropped far below zero. Number 9. The ferrocerium rod. Matches get wet. Lighters freeze, run dry, and fail in the wind. A ferro rod is a metal stick that showers 3,000-degree sparks when scraped with a steel edge, and it works soaking wet, in a blizzard, at any temperature, roughly 10,000 times before wearing out. Pair it with a bag of cotton balls rubbed in petroleum jelly, which catch a spark instantly and burn for minutes, and you have a fire-starting system that costs under $10 and essentially cannot fail for years. In survival terms, the ability to reliably make fire is the ability to make heat, dry clothing, safe water, and hot food. This little rod is life insurance you can hang around your neck. We're now heading into the top 8, and this is where the list shifts from staying warm to building a real shelter system, including the invention at number 1 that was designed for homeless people from day one. But let me pause for 30 seconds. Some of you aren't watching out of curiosity. Some of you love someone who is struggling right now, and some of you are closer to needing this knowledge than you'd like to admit. There's far more to surviving with nothing than fits in one video, so we put the full system into a free guide called The Veteran's Blueprint. Veterans make up a heartbreaking share of the people sleeping outside in this country, and the guide was built with them in mind, but everything in it works for anyone. It covers finding shelter, claiming the help most people never know they qualify for, and the step-by-step path back into housing. The link is in the description below this video. If that's you or someone you care about, it costs nothing but a click. Now, number 8. Number 8. The ground tarp and the art of getting off the ground. A basic waterproof tarp might be the most versatile object ever sold in a camping aisle. Folded under a sleeping area, it blocks ground moisture that would otherwise soak through everything by morning. Strung at an angle between 2 points, it becomes a roof against snow and a wall against wind. And blocking wind alone can make a night feel 20 degrees warmer. Experienced rough sleepers combine a tarp with elevation, using wooden pallets, cardboard layers, or a folded tarp itself, because even 4 inches of separation from frozen concrete dramatically slows heat loss. A tarp, some cord, and a little knowledge outperform many cheap tents, and they cost about $10. Number 7. The cold-rated mummy sleeping bag. Not all sleeping bags are remotely equal, and this is where donated gear often falls tragically short. That rectangular bag from a garage sale is usually rated for summer sleepovers, not for January. A mummy bag is shaped like its name, tapered to the body with an insulated hood that cinches down until only the nose and mouth are exposed, so your body isn't wasting energy heating dead airspace. Bags rated for 0 degrees or below use modern synthetic fills that keep insulating even when damp and can be found on sale or secondhand. If you donate only one item to a homeless neighbor in your life, make it a genuinely cold-rated mummy bag. It is, quite literally, a portable bedroom. Number 6. The solar power bank. This one surprises people because it isn't about warmth at all. But think about what a dead phone means for someone without a home. It means no calling a shelter when temperatures crash, no reaching a family member, a caseworker, or an ambulance. and no finding out where a warming center opened tonight. A rugged solar power bank charges itself in a sunny spot during the day, holds multiple full phone charges, and many include a built-in flashlight. For $20 to $30, it keeps a person connected to every safety net that still exists for them. In a modern winter, communication is survival equipment, plain and simple. Number 5. Insulated camp booties. Frostbite takes toes before it takes anything else, and it usually happens at night when boots come off and feet sit still for 8 hours. Campers in cold climates swear by insulated down or synthetic booties, soft, oversized slippers filled with the same insulation as a sleeping bag, worn inside the bag while sleeping. They let damp boots dry overnight instead of freezing solid on the feet, and they let blood circulate freely instead of being squeezed by tight footwear, which is exactly what feet need to stay warm. They pack down to the size of a grapefruit. Emergency room nurses in northern cities will tell you the same thing every February. Protect the feet, because frostbitten toes are the difference between walking out of winter and not. Number 4. The portable water filter straw. Winter dehydration sounds backwards, and that's exactly why it's so dangerous. Cold air is bone dry. Breathing it pulls moisture from the body all day, and people simply don't feel thirsty when they're freezing. Dehydrated blood thickens and circulates poorly, which makes hypothermia and frostbite strike faster. A filter straw, the kind that removes bacteria and parasites from virtually any water source, weighs 2 ounces and filters up to 1,000 gallons. It means a creek, a fountain, or collected snowmelt becomes safe drinking water without begging, buying, or walking miles to a tap. Staying hydrated is part of the machinery that keeps a body warm. Number 3. The Terracotta Candle Warmer. You may have seen this one online, a clay flower pot propped over a few small candles, and it's worth being honest about what it does and doesn't do. It will not heat a room. What it does is act as a radiator, absorbing the candle flame's heat into thick clay and releasing it slowly as gentle, steady warmth you can hold your hands near, warm food beside, or place carefully in the corner of a small sheltered space. The clay also shields the open flames, making a few tea lights far safer around fabric and cardboard. The whole setup can be assembled for under $5, and on a night when there's nothing else, $5 of clay and wax pointed at your hands can keep fingers working. Sometimes survival just means keeping the edge off long enough to see morning. Number 2. Reflective insulation panels. Campers and van dwellers buy rolls of foil-faced bubble insulation, the same silver material used in windshield sunshades, and it might be the most underrated shelter upgrade in existence. Cut to size, it lines the walls of a tent, the windows of a car, or the inside of any small shelter, reflecting body heat back inward and blocking cold radiating in from outside. People sleeping in vehicles report the difference as night and day, both in warmth and in privacy, since covered windows also mean being left alone. A roll costs around $15, cuts with ordinary scissors, weighs almost nothing, and lasts for years. It's the technology of a spacecraft, sold in the paint aisle. And now, number 1. The sleeping bag coat. Every other item on this list was invented for campers and adapted by people surviving outside. This one is different. In Detroit, a college design student named Veronica Scott met homeless men and women during one of the harshest winters in the city's memory, and instead of designing another product for stores, she designed a heavy insulated coat that unfolds into a full sleeping bag at night and rolls into a carry bag by day. Then she did something even better. She founded a nonprofit called the Empowerment Plan, which hires people directly out of homeless shelters, mostly single mothers, to manufacture the coats, giving them paychecks, training, and a path into permanent housing. Tens of thousands of these coats have been distributed across cold weather cities, made by people who once needed one themselves. One invention that provides warmth, shelter, dignity, and employment all at once. That's why it's number one, and honestly, it isn't close. So look at what this list really adds up to. $1 Mylar blanket, a $10 tarp, a foam pad, wool socks, a ferro rod, a candle in a metal cage. None of these are miracles. They're small pieces of knowledge, and together they form a system. Insulation below, layers around, wind blocked, fire available, water safe, phone charged, feet protected. The gap between a deadly winter night and a survivable one is often not hundreds of dollars. It's information and maybe $40 of gear from a camping aisle. That's one care package, and you now know exactly what goes in it. Every single person watching can close that gap for someone, whether that someone is a stranger on a corner, a struggling neighbor, or one day, yourself. If this video opened your eyes, the deeper guide, the Veteran's Blueprint, is waiting for you in the description below, completely free, with the shelter access, unclaimed benefits, and recovery steps that didn't fit in this video. Go get it, for yourself or for someone you love. And if you want more real-world survival knowledge, subscribe, because next week we're covering the winter mistakes that kill more people than the cold itself. Stay warm out there and look out for each other.